The Euroleague Playoff first-round series between Fenerbahce and Paris has tipped off, and it's already proving to be one of the most exciting and highly anticipated matchups of this post-season's opening phase. Coach Saras Jasikevicius' squad, which qualified as the second seed, and Tiago Splitter's team, which secured its first participation in this stage thanks to their play-in victory, immediately showcased their tactical prowess from the opening tip, demonstrating how this series will likely come down to the smallest details and minor adjustments. Let's now break down in details what we saw from both teams during Game 1 with the help of video clips, and what I expect both coaches will do in the second game of the series. The game starts with a clear idea. Jasikevicius' starting lineup has 5 players who are much bigger than TJ Shorts, so he can be posted up. So in the first play of the game, Hall has to receive in a low post position, but Splitter came prepared. As soon as the ball is passed, Shorts and Ward Peel switched, with Hayes ready to help in the paint. But Birch reads this situation perfectly and cuts. The idea is similar here. First, there's Colson calling for the ball to punish Shorts' deep position. Guduric doesn't see him, so Herrera can switch on the wing. Then Hall, who's now guarded by Paris' point guard, flash cuts to bring the mismatch to a favorable position, but here he finds Herrera ready to pick him up. But Fenerbahce reads all the switches amazingly, with Birch ready to punish Ward back to the basket. Paris' wing needs a help quickly, so Shorts goes into the paint to double-team the big man, but leaves Colson open. In this play, Hayes-Davis wants to force a switch with a screen to post up Shorts. If you look at Shorts and Ward, they're already perfectly synchronized to Peel switch. So Paris execute flawlessly and Fener doesn't get any advantage here. Just like in the second clip, Colson is again in the paint with Shorts before anyone can crowd the rim area, and that's what Jasikevicius wanted. But the point guard does a good job at fronting the wing, so Fenerbahce has to take longer to get the ball to its player. When Colson spins to be in a better position to receive, Shorts and Ward are already prepared to switch. Despite that, Baldwin makes the right read and finds Hayes-Davis for a good shot. But there's one thing you might have noticed about Paris when they face post-up mismatches, and that's letting the center roam in the paint. But take a look at the level of preparation of the Lithuanian coach and his players. With Hayes roaming, Meli is not directly guarded by anyone, so he can set a pin-down screen for Biberovic with no possibility to switch for Paris. So Ward has to pick the shooter up, and Guduric can occupy the empty corner without anyone guarding him. He's wide open in this situation. His teammate doesn't see him but still finds a good shot. There's another post-up mismatch for the Turkish side here. Hayes-Davis is matched up with Hifi, so Kratzer has to stay in the paint to try to nullify the action. Again, notice the match preparation in its details, with Birch setting a hammer screen on the weak side for an open Colson. In this occasion, NHD isn't confident enough to throw the skip pass, but the tactics are once again on point. Fenerbahce purposely looked for these situations, as you can see here. Biberovic sets a screen for Hayes-Davis with the only purpose of forcing Shorts onto the wing, but Jantunen stays attached to not concede the mismatch. Here you can see all the moves explained earlier. Hayes is roaming in the paint, and Turksh is setting a hammer screen for Hall in the corner. But McCullum relocates and punishes Hifi's late closeout. Before diving into the next points of the game breakdown, I just want to remind you that you can have access to extra basketball content on my IG page. There, you'll find basketball analysis about original topics viewed under a scientific perspective, opinions on what happens in the basketball world, and you'll have the chance to have a closer contact with me. Thank you to the people who'll support me there too, and now we can get back to the video. One effective weapon Paris utilized in the first half of the game was the screening action between two shooters like Ward and Herrera. Both Guduric and Colson go on the Chilean, with Ward free to slip. Here we see the same concept, but with Jantunen instead of Herrera. The defense switches, but not aggressively. One of the adjustments of the second half made by the coach of the year was switching in a much more aggressive way on this action. Notice how both defenders step up to deny the play. Lastly, let's see how TJ Shorts made the right decision against every single coverage Jasikevicius threw at him. In the first stages of the game, the choice was to drop on his pick and rolls. Shorts and Hayes know this coverage too well, so the point guard puts his defender in jail, and the center sets a Gortat screen for him. Here's another example of Turksh dropping against Shorts in the first quarter. The Macedonian knows this is an empty side pick and roll, so this time he doesn't do the hostage dribble, but looks for his big. Third different time the opposing big man drops, third different ending of the possession. The point guard is attacking at full speed, and still he's able to recognize that Turksh's position is too high, so he attacks the Canadian. Jasikevicius tried to adjust with switching, but Shorts had already identified Colson as the weak link of the defense. He doesn't even want to attack Melli, but the former Maccabi player. And once Colson is beaten off the dribble, Shorts has already read the help and passed the ball to the open Herrera. But that's not the only way Paris attacks against switches. They use a lot of ghost screens too, like Ward does here. So Fenerbahce had to do something. Here, the man guarded by Colson sets another screen for Shorts to force the switch, which happens. This time, instead of letting Shorts blow by Colson, Hall goes to double at the top of the key. The defense does a great job at rotating despite Paris's ball movement, and forces the shot they wanted. At the end of the game, they even tried to blitz him, but the former Bonn player immediately saw the pocket between the two defenders and hit the short roller. Hayes perfectly scanned the court and found the open man. At one point, Guduric even tried to top-block Shorts, but he did the right thing once again. He set a screen for Jantunen, cutting off of the action both the Serbian and Pierre. Notice how Kavarius Hayes read the situation well once again and set a hammer screen for Herrera. That's all for today. If you enjoyed this breakdown, you can support my channel by subscribing to it and liking this video. And you can check out my IG page with the link in the description too. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.